Ian, do you prefer buying books, borrowing them from a friend, or renting them from a library? And I'm not even sure if renting is the right word.
Yeah, I mean, good questions. I'm a huge Kindle guy.
Okay,
Been that way
okay.
for a few years. But here's the thing though, Mark. I love buying books.
Me too.
It's just I buy only certain books now. I think when I look at what I've bought recently, it's books that mean something to me. I bought the Dune. It's not a trilogy. It's a little bit bigger than that. But anyway, those are books that I want to share with the kids and I want to reread, and they mean something beyond just being a casual fun read.
Yeah.
For everything else, I've been very diligently doing the ebooks in the library. Um,
Yeah. I forgot
it's free.
you're a
It's free.
Big Kindle guy.
Yeah,
I still love holding the physical book, like
and I
reading
do
in bed and
too.
stuff.
That's the weird
I
thing.
know.
I do too.
I've never felt guilty for spending money on two things, right? Food or reading, because I figure at the worst,
I
even if I
love
don't
that,
like
man.
the book or I don't really read the whole thing, then I supported the author, and
Right.
the arts and the publishing
I
house, but whatever.
Yeah. There's this funny quote that you'll see on Facebook sometimes about people jokingly like on their deathbed. No one said, "Oh, I wish I had a smaller library," or "I regret
Oh,
buying those
yes,
last 5 books."
exactly.
But I will
Right.
say, the physical space books take up. I have a couple bookshelves in the basement. I'm in a situation now where there are opposing forces. I'm not going to name
Uh,
names here. Where not keen on getting a lot more bookshelves because I mean, behind you, Mark, beautiful display
I
here.
know. I know.
Bookshelves and books are amazing pieces of art. Honestly, I love how they look, how they feel, the tactile.
Yeah.
But I'm like a book a week kind of guy. I try to be. So
That's a lot of
I got
books if you're going
to
to buy them all.
yes, and a lot of the books I get from the library, I read. I enjoy lowercase e. They don't mean much to me,
Hmm.
and the idea that I can get them, I can pivot and stop reading. I can return it early. It's risk free. There's no financing. Late fees. We'll talk about that in a
I
quick
was going
second
to
here,
say,
but
yes.
nothing's actually free. There's no free
Yeah.
lunch,
You're
right?
telling me you never owed the library money?
I've owed the library money plenty of times with physical books.
Yeah.
With the whole e-reader thing, it basically just yanks it from your Kindle when it expires,
So it
which
saves you
I
money.
actually kind of like that built-in deadline. I think a lot of people,
Must read, must finish, right?
I think they vocally dislike it, but I think internally it gives them a little bit more of an incentive to finish. And
Here's
I am totally pro book. So whatever works to read, 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 read. I don't care what format it is.
here's a question off the top of my head. You go to a garage sale. I'm going to say the two most common things there are clothes and
Yes,
books.
especially hardcover books.
Hmm.
I think because someone paid good money. I mean, hardcover books
Hmm.
even 20 years ago were still
What's the resale
15,
value
20
on that?
bucks,
Because usually it's like 50
10
cents for a
cents.
book. Yeah,
Yeah,
10 cents
yeah.
even lower. So, and you paid 25 bucks for it, right?
But
Anyway,
yeah, so it sounds like you're not opposed to Kindles or
no,
digital books.
no.
You're still tactile. You're still real book first.
I'm a late adopter to technology.
You're a
You
late
know that.
adopter. I think I was kind of late to Kindle, but I do think that as time passes, I think once people try the Kindle and there's different formats and versions, obviously, I think they'll get hooked. I think it's one of
Okay.
those things where it's just going to grow and grow and grow. But
Okay.
anyway, what are our three stories, Mark? Let's get into it.
Yes, our three stories are not books. It is the role of the modern all-star game,
Ooh, love it.
the future of the cruise industry,
Toot toot.
and trigger warning, our biggest pet peeves.
Woo, I'm already sweating that one a little
I
bit.
know. All right.
All right.
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Let's get into it.
They got red hair, they really don't care what they talk about. They just want to have a good time while talking online. Let's get into it.
So, All-Star Games. I watch All-Star Games a bit.
A bit.
I think that the ones that we're going to mostly talk about here are baseball, basketball, and hockey to a lesser degree. Football, pro ball. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to give that any time. It's so ridiculous.
The end of
Anyway,
the season, it's garbage. Yeah.
End of the season, yeah, it's not good. So part of the problem, I think, is that when you think of All-Star Games, the cynic in every one of us is going to go to that money grab.
Mm-hmm.
This is another way to sell a jersey, a $12 beer, gets them on TV. It's just part of the whole capitalistic money siphon. And I think the other problem is, before I defend All-Star Games, one of their biggest problems is people only playing half the game. I don't mean like
it's not a real game
It's not a real game
at all.
It's sort of like it's sort of like a video game simulation, if you will. You
Mhm.
basically have all these people with the best stats, the best percentages, and so on and so forth, but they can't really play the game. I mean, in basketball, defense doesn't happen. They score like 185 points, for God's sakes.
I know.
For hockey, it's such a physical game. You're not going to jeopardize the back half of your season by forechecking a guy into the boards. So that format doesn't really work because it's in the middle of the season. And then it's kind of odd also because like the best players get no time off, and then everybody else gets like a 4-day weekend. So it's kind of this weird balance of like the better you are, the more you play. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it goes back to LeBron James playing every playoff game. He's essentially like had like 3 extra full seasons on his legs.
Right.
Slight detraction there, but you know what I mean? So I think what's cool about the All-Star game is simple. It's a stage where the best players can play together. On paper, you're seeing matchups. I mean, not on paper, the real thing. What was on paper is now, it's real. It's happening. You have Ovechkin and Crosby on the same offensive line.
Theoretical kind of still, but
right. You're sort of the leagues can showcase their talents. Say, hey, these are our best players on the best stage, the bright lights.
But
so what do you think, Mark? That's kind of my
I think it's not appealing in any sport, honestly. The original intent may have been
harsh.
Oh yeah, maybe you want to connect with the players, but it feels like a money grab to me. The skills contest can be exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of like those still.
I mean, I think the dunk contest is not very exciting in the NBA. The 3-point contest can be. Maybe that's because the game has changed, so you want to watch
objective,
people.
I guess, too. It's just
I don't know.
Threes
and the home run derby in certain years in the MLB has been exciting.
So exciting.
But if the stars are missing their 3-pointers, or there aren't a bunch of home runs, or the format's weird, because they always have like these like rounds you play, and it gets kind of weird. I've heard the hockey skills contest is good, but honestly, I haven't actually ever seen it.
You can reference our previous episode on why hockey is not very popular.
I do like, and I see this stuff on Facebook all the time on the NBA. People are always like, "Oh, bring back the team jerseys." I think I kind of agree. When you all played, like you wore your own team jersey. Maybe it's confusing to play the game, but like you said, they're not playing defense anyway. So
they're not really playing the game. They're kind of going like the playground.
But I think it's kind of cool.
Playground version.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you've hit on something. I think that the skills competitions, the ones that aren't like a full-fledged game, can be fun.
Yeah.
When the best players participated in the All-Star game, you had the best players. Nowadays, like I mentioned before, it kind of behooves you to say, I appreciate the invitation, but
they sit out.
Rest your body,
right?
Sit out.
If they're in contention for something that year, they don't want to fully participate.
So the dunk competition, I know that I'm not a super NBA follower, but the names this year, I did not recognize the people doing the dunk competition.
They did not do well.
And honestly,
12%
everyone gets
success
9s
rate.
and 10s. Yeah, I mean,
the judging's weird.
It's like Shaq's a judge.
Yeah.
And it's like he holds it, and like Charles Barkley holds up a 10. And it's like sponsored by Sprite, and it's nonsensical. I mean, the 3-point contest is, you take a shot. If it's in, you get certain points for it. But even that now, there's like wild card balls, and there's like different, like there's like a 4-point shot or something crazy.
Well, I feel like for dunks, haven't we seen every dunk that is physically possible?
We've seen a lot of them. I mean, it involves jumping over objects and people.
Yes.
Different rotations in the air.
You either spin around the back,
versions of where you actually. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of right.
Incredibly hard. It doesn't translate to TV though.
Yeah. I also they have like 3 chances to do a really hard dunk, and then of course they're gonna miss the first 2 because these are hard dunks that are like so it's like, do you do easy ones that you make? Do you go for the ones that you probably miss?
So we don't like it. We don't like that. Yeah,
we don't like that. I do think that the one that I've only seen a few times that I think it translates really well to television is just the hardest slap shot for hockey.
Yeah,
because it's kind of cool. I mean, to see a guy go like 110, just like whoosh, it's kind of fun
because you don't see him hit it like that usually in a game.
No, because there's somebody right in front of them usually.
Right.
So
not that slap shot.
So I think that, like you said before, some of the events that are more of the spectacular, they kind of work. I do think the NBA is really trying hard to kind of meld Hollywood and music industry and pop culture.
They try.
And they highlight who's on like the different celebrities, and they kind of make it more of an exciting
they're very
Lollapalooza kind of, they really know how to get people.
Yeah, I don't know if progressive is the right word, but they're always forward thinking. They're always trying to do stuff.
They're always trying to do new things. But honestly, at the end of the day, this is a way for these leagues to get more eyeballs on the screen, to sell more jerseys.
It's like adding a game that's not on the schedule.
Right. So, I mean, basically, do you think any of the major 4 sports are going to forego an all-star game?
Oh, no, they'll always keep them. They'll always keep them. But
I just tweak it a lot, change it up a little bit.
I don't even know who's interested. If it's a casual fan, hardcore fans, I'm not interested.
Yeah, the only way that I get into these is basically the next day on social media. I watch the
highlights. Yeah.
Right. So that's our thoughts on it. Maybe you guys disagree. Let us know if we.
Yeah, I'd love to have an opposing viewpoint, because we are definitely taking
who's like super pro all-star game. Let's hear it.
Taking the under. Yeah.
All right. Finance, business.
Yeah. Ian, have you ever been on a cruise?
Yeah, good. I have been on 2 cruises. Not for some time.
I've been on 2 as well.
Caribbean. You went to the northern provinces one.
Yeah. So mine were different experiences. We did one when I was younger, probably 12 or 13, with my family, a Caribbean cruise of sorts. And then once my honeymoon, my wife and I went on an Alaskan cruise.
That must have been interesting visually.
Well, I loved both of them. The Caribbean as a kid, just the big ship and all that. And then with my wife and I, I would recommend it, a whole different experience. And I think it's awesome. I think it's affordable. The biggest cost for us, living in Michigan, is
you mentioned that
flying to the coast, right? So we flew to Seattle and then took the 7-day cruise up and down. But I like them.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, as we're taping, Royal Caribbean just kind of released the new flagship, biggest, I think 7,000 people floating.
Bigger is better, decks, right?
Floating palace, opulent, brand new. Something like on one deck they have 20,000 live plants. Can you imagine that?
No, I can't.
They've essentially created an entire landmass and just put it on the water.
A city on water.
Yeah, no, I think we're truly at that point where it's a city. They have districts. You know what I mean? It's incredible. So this kind of ties in for me when I think about the future of the cruise industry. Next couple of years, we are going to see the rollout of these mega cities on land, not on land, on water.
And the reason that we're talking about the future, obviously, is that the cruises tanked during the pandemic, right?
Tanked.
They're still struggling to recover.
Yes.
But I think they're bouncing back.
All the metrics would say so. Yeah.
If anything, it was good for them, right? They have to improve their ventilation and their sanitization, because they were always kind of a disgusting petri dish for diseases.
You would hear about the norovirus and other, obviously less deadly kind of viruses going through, wrecking havoc on stuff. But
so you think they're taking it as an opportunity to rebuild, restructure, and they're all going to be bigger?
Yeah, I mean, they've already financed these new mega boats. I mean, obviously more attractions and amenities. I mean, I'm just going to list a few things that I fact checked that exist on cruise boats.
Okay.
You have go-kart tracks.
Really?
Golf,
no way.
Mini golf. Yes. Water slides, some hundreds of feet, legitimate, Disney style water slides on a boat.
Wow.
Some have literal roller coasters. They have zip lines.
Zip lines I knew about.
They have skydiving simulations where there's these big bubbles where you basically are skydiving.
Oh my God.
Air pushes up, air pushes down kind of thing. Some have ice skating rinks, which is kind of a lot of resources for being in the Caribbean. They have carousels. They have poolside movie screens. This new one has an IMAX quality movie screen that sort of folds up and down on the deck.
See,
so obviously they're trying to attract.
I liked the cruises because I liked the ability to travel and hit different port cities and do the excursions. That was kind of the attraction to me, not necessarily the on-boat entertainment. So it's interesting that they're adding all those things.
They're not skimping on attractions and amenities for sure.
My gosh.
I think the novelty of the newness, they're trying to attract a new generation of cruisers. I think there are a lot of studies that say if you can convert people in their 20s and 30s to cruising,
you hook them for life, right?
Basically, they're every 6 months they lock it in.
Makes sense.
They get off the boat, having scheduled their next cruise. So I think that's the golden ticket for these cruise lines.
Yeah, it is affordable.
Pent-up demand has definitely. There's been a huge surge in bookings for this year in 2023, obviously because people had their trips canceled and those people felt comfortable cruising back in the day. But a lot of them are feeling optimistic they can get back on the boats.
You know what I would love to try is one of the smaller like river cruises. Like you could cruise you could cruise the Mississippi. Would that not feel kind of like a Huck Finn kind of adventure? I don't. That's what I
wouldn't
imagine,
have the skydiving simulation, but yeah. So
no.
One of the other things that gives me hope for cruises is that they have a lot of differentiation on stuff. They have the mega boats.
Yes.
They have the longer cruises that are like the 7 to 12 day. Heck, they have ones that are like 90 days.
You can do round the world.
Those sell out instantaneously.
You can do round the world tours. Yeah, like where you cruise for a whole year. Like that's the retirement dream.
Winter to winter, right? I think it's like 95 ports that you visit. You go over entire continents. You
hit all of them.
So basically, I think as I was doing research, a lot of articles were saying they took this time to sort of turbocharge technology. So our famous QR codes for menus, mobile apps, everything's touchless, online checking, basically taking a lot of the tactile things that, as you said before, spread germs back in the day and use this opportunity to do a cold restart. The buffet, Mark.
I was going to ask you. That's what I was going to ask you next. What does the food look like?
I remember I had a high school teacher, and he said he goes on boats to eat.
Yeah.
He just wants to eat for a week straight. You know.
I thought the food was
like, what do you mean by that?
It's just
now I understand what he meant by it. So, the buffet as we know it, in terms of self-serve, that's kind of like blowing out candles on a cake.
Yeah.
It's probably relegated to the past.
Say it isn't so.
The don't you dare category. But the compromise is simple. Passengers are served food.
You just need someone to spoon it for you. Right?
So you say, I want that, want that, want that, want that, want that. You're going to get all 5 things. You're just not going to be putting your greasy hands on it.
Good.
The other thing that they're taking the opportunity to is these big time cruise lines, your Carnival, Royal Caribbean, they're just buying islands like crazy because then they own the infrastructure. They can control everything and they can nickel and dime you for, if you go to the Coco Cay, I think that's what it's called. We'll have to fact check that. It's basically owned by Royal Caribbean. They can charge you for a cabana. They can charge you for a drink. They can charge you for the merch, for the water slides.
You don't pay for it there, right? You just scan your wrist or whatever and you pay for it all later.
Right. It's the Disney way where, I want that drink, scan. I want that big gulp, scan. Yeah. And so basically owning your own private Caribbean islands, obviously it hurts the local economy of the Bahamas and the different countries that super rely on tourism, but these cruise ships think it's a great deal when they can just buy the real estate,
they control
the entire point-to-point destination.
Yeah.
And like you said before, Mark, I think it's worth repeating here. These mega ships are going to need to have enhanced medical facilities, improved ventilation. They'll have to probably keep up with this hospital grade cleaning.
So it's going to be like a science fiction, like Starship. They're going to have the med bay.
Well, they already,
the back to tank.
They have to have more isolation spaces, right? They have to maybe convert some of their like naughty brig jail type things if you party too hard into maybe some isolation spaces things. But so yeah, I think cruises as an industry are going to rebound.
Me too.
I think it might
bigger and better,
years.
Right?
I think every new Omicron type wave is a huge setback.
Definitely.
But at some point, all signs are pointing to a return to normality. But the boats are bigger, cleaner, more amenities, and a bigger push on this whole private island control point-to-point stuff. So that's my cruise industry take. Got anything else to add?
No, they're lovely.
Lovely. Even Alaska, which I thought would be cold, but
no, it was like 50s. It's very warm.
50s.
Well, we went in the fall. It was very nice.
The warmest Alaska can get. You experienced.
Yes.
Pet peeves. Our biggest pet peeves.
Yeah.
My first pet peeve is the term pet peeve. What's going on there, man?
I don't know what the etymology is. What's looking at
I don't know. I don't care for it. But anyway.
Beyond that, this was easy for me. Yeah. I
want to hear your 3 to 5 to 8 to 12. At least 3. I'm gonna biggest pet peeves.
2. You proposed this and I just got going, right? Number 1, my whole life, people talking over each other. When I was in school, kids would do it, right, with the teacher. Adults do it in these meetings. It's like one of the biggest things I'm trying to instill unsuccessfully into my kids.
Unsuccessfully.
Like when 2 adults are talking, I'm not saying raise your hand, but like recognize the conversation and don't just interrupt. It drives me crazy at work when somebody's giving a presentation or at an event on stage and they're speaking. And it's like, yes, it's funny to make those little goofy, snarky quips, but oh my God, it's so rude to me. Save your comments for the end. That's my big first one. Number 2, leaving the lights on in an empty room drives me crazy. Yes, you could save energy, you could save money, and that's part of it. But it's just, I don't know. When I walk out of a room, I'm not there, turn it off. I don't know why it's so hard. I got to pivot to you. If I keep going, I'm just going to get flustered here.
So the one that resonates with me, Mark, is the lights thing.
Thank you.
A couple of months ago, I went to the backyard for who knows what reason. It was dark. I turned around. I looked at the house. I swear there was 12 lights on. And we didn't have 12 rooms.
Hey, you don't have 12 people in there.
No, I took a picture of it, and it kind of reminded me of this. There's this meme that you can see online where it's the every light in the house is on kind of thing. And that's my singing prowess there. And basically, it was all floors, all lit. I don't know where anybody was in the house, but I was like, come on, guys.
It's not for security,
resonate.
Turn them off.
Yeah, I mean, I can resonate with the whole light thing.
Good.
And so I got a bunch of pet peeves. So
here we go. Strap in.
At some point, I'm going to get cut off. So I got this thing against leaf blowers. I just don't think that it kind of goes back to the snow blowing thing. At some point, I think we have all this technology. It hasn't really improved the process of raking leaves.
Yeah.
I just hear in the fall, I hear this constant cacophony of leaf blowers. And I sometimes watch what's happening, and I just say,
it's not effective.
It's not effective. And, at some point you could just rake that. Obviously raking is physical. Not everyone can do it, but those backpacks with the leaf blowers, I've worn them. They're also really heavy and awkward. And
really expensive. It's crazy what they have,
yeah,
I don't want to say tricked, but had created for consumers to buy. Right.
I agree. Number 2 is dishwasher versus washing in the sink.
What are you gonna say?
I know. First, my caveat is this: I have read articles that say, in terms of the water usage, dishwashers are more effective.
Okay.
My problem is it takes 5-10 seconds of vigorous scrubbing for a dish or two, and you put it in the dish drainer.
Yeah.
Dishwasher, it's 2 hours plus.
I'm team sink. I only wash in the sink. I never use a dishwasher.
Literally, dishwashers take, people do it overnight because it takes so long. And you're telling me that the process of introducing hot water and detergent to dishes, it's a 4-hour process.
I literally don't need a dishwasher. Ridiculous. I could get rid of ours. Yeah. And never use it ever.
If you're going to rinse off the food on the plate and do 3/4 of it.
Yeah. You washed it twice.
Finish it off. Now, obviously, like I said before, my caveat is water usage. I got to do more research, but
commercial kitchens.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Christmas tree on Black Friday. Okay. I think that Christmas, you get the month of December.
Okay.
That's your month. You get, it's not a full month, obviously, but I get really annoyed when the minute Thanksgiving's over, it's Christmas time. I'm like, no, it's November still. Christmas
too early.
Is a December month. You get 25 days, Mark, which is more than you get for any other month, right? It just everything gets smushed and smushed, and it's not like I'm pro Thanksgiving per se. Thanksgiving is fine. It's for the birds, but
not for the birds.
I just don't think that. It annoys me that people are just so interested in getting that dang tree up in November. I'm not saying put up your tree on the 23rd of December.
No,
I'm just saying
I'm 2 to 3 weeks before
1st,
Christmas.
Right. Yeah. That's plenty of time.
Yeah.
And then, as I'm thinking this through, January 1st, it's a new year. The tree's got to come down at that point. I think decorations got to come down.
The only exception I'm going to say, what if you have a family holiday for Christmas on December 5th or December 5th, January 5th, Is that okay?
That's fair. That's fair. My next one is all these different kinds of milk. Okay. Every week, there's a new milk that comes out.
You mean like the source of the milk? Like almond, oats, goat
hemp milk, soy milk, walnut milk. I'm missing like 6 milks. And then even like milk itself has 8 varieties, from your whole milk to your skim.
Yeah.
1%, 2%, like vitamin D is a kind of milk now. That's just a vitamin. So I just think it's ridiculous that we have 18 different kinds of milk.
Okay.
I
have nothing to say. Yeah.
My next one here, meal kits. It's the HelloFresh.
You've tried them, right?
Probably like 5 or 6 times.
And?
So it's not like it's a one-off. It's never 30 minutes, folks. It's never 30 minutes.
No.
The amount of chopping you do is absolutely ridiculous. I think that for me, it's like they give you the illusion of like the fresh, wholesome ingredients. But I wouldn't be opposed to they chop it up for
fresh.
Me.
Yeah.
Right? If I don't mind getting an onion, but if you end up chopping it up for me and then putting it in the bag, I'd be fine with that too. I think it's just they constantly say that they're an alternative to the longer meal prep. And I say, no, if anything, it's longer than your average meal.
All they've done is save you time on the shopping and the ingredient list.
And it's okay to have a meal.
Cooking's the same, right?
And it's okay to have a meal in the middle of the week that's just spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, we do taco night and spaghetti night.
I think they're like their simplest meal is like 12 ingredients. I know they're sort of like that's part of the shtick, right? It's like restaurant amount of dishes, or in terms of ingredients, but like you can do a meal with 4 ingredients.
Okay,
and it's fine.
What's next?
So my next one is horses. Okay, so my last one.
You don't like horses, okay?
I don't think I ever met somebody who owns horses whose entire existence didn't solely revolve around the fact that they own horses.
It's a commitment, yeah.
Plus, they're faster and stronger than me, and I'm just tired of it.
And prettier, yeah.
It's like they're muscular, and it's like, come on, it's not fair. They can run faster than me. I just don't like horses, man. So enough horse beating around here.
Okay, yeah. We got to cut you off. Your blood pressure is way too high. So
yeah, I am fully enraged. So what are the recaps for our folks here?
Yes, if we can remember everything. Sports, the All-Star games. Is it for the fans or just another money grab? For finance, we're pro cruises. They're going to rebound just fine, and they're just going to sail off into the sunset, making money.
Sure.
And for wild card, wow, Ian, you got a long list of things that just tick you off.
Yeah, I guess I do.
I want to see someone about that.
I might have to. This was kind of like partial therapy,
but really,
like I didn't finish my therapeutic.
You need cleansing. a few more pods to get that all out. But
yeah,
Ian, thank you for a great pod today. I hope you have a productive rest of your day.
Yeah, I think I had to pivot off pet peeves for a while. Get my blood pressure down.
I had to cut you off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you're kind of, I don't know, pretty thin skinned. I'm not sure.
I do think though, I think that secretly everybody, if given the chance to broadcast their pet peeves, they'd think of more things than they care to admit.
If you get going, you really get going.
A lot of things bother people.
Yeah.
So as always, thanks for watching and listening. Let us know what your biggest pet peeves are in the comments. Hopefully it isn't YouTubers constantly asking you to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
But
which, by the way, like and subscribe, please. Thank you.
Until next time,
let's get into it. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The content in this podcast is not intended to be a research report, financial, or life advice, and does not constitute an endorsement of any product, service, individual, or organization.